When the waitress daughter translates, dinner turns into a shocking revelation. The small diner on Grant Street was buzzing with the familiar clatter of plates and murmurs of conversation, but tonight was different. A strange energy filled the air, throbbing like a live wire. Every table was packed, the light overhead swinging slightly, casting shadows that danced nervously against the walls. Patrons shifted in their seats, eyes darting toward the front, as whispers of unexplainable happenings began to spread. It was the chatter that sent chills down spines, that pointed towards a chilling truth waiting to unveil itself. And then, she stepped in, the waitress daughter, Emma, a girl with bright red hair and eyes that seemed to flicker with secrets. She wore an apron stained with the remnants of countless meals served, but tonight, her energy spoke of something more. Something electric. As she approached a table speaking Spanish, everyone leaned in, desperate to overhear. When she began translating, her voice seemed to change, taking on a haunting lilt that sent shivers rippling through everyone. A low murmur enveloped the room. What had started as simply translating orders morphed into her commanding what felt like an otherworldly presence. The words rolled off her tongue, laced with emotion that gripped hearts, leaving little room for breath. A sudden hush fell over the diner, a tangible silence that wrapped around them like a heavy blanket. The nervous murmurs faded into a quiet tension that could bubble and burst at any moment. What could she possibly be conjuring with those words? Was it mere food orders or revelations catastrophic enough to unravel everything they thought they knew? Just then, a loud crash echoed from the kitchen as the cook, Hector, emerged, his face twisted in disbelief. "Did you hear what she said? She revealed secrets, the kind that can shatter lives." Gasps erupted, thick with shock and confusion. "Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. Emma's voice floated over the diner, steady and haunting. Your shadows hold your truths, and the truth is about to unravel. The weight of her words hung in the air, palpable and potent, charging the atmosphere with a sense of dread and curiosity. The tension was thick, a mix of fear and anticipation that wrapped around the diners, tightening with every second. What truth? What shadows? Just then, the lights flickered overhead again, and her eyes sparkled with something other than fear. Was it hope? Or was it the promise of chaos about to descend upon Grant Street? They all waited, breaths held, hearts racing. Who would dare break the silence now? What secrets lay waiting in the shadows? The silence shattered when a voice cut through the tension. It was Claire, seated at the back booth, her hands trembling around a chipped mug of coffee. "What do you mean, Emma? What secrets?" Her voice quivered, echoing the anxiety that filled the diner. Emma turned toward her, eyes fierce and almost glowing in the dim light. "Secrets you don't want to hear. Secrets that tie us all together." She glanced at the assembled patrons, their faces frozen in a mixture of dread and intrigue. Some looked away, unwilling to hear what she had to say. Others leaned in, drawn by an invisible thread. "What do you mean?" Hector shouted, desperation creeping into his tone. "This isn't some game. We need to know." "Do you really?" Emma asked, her voice steady but layered with an otherworldly depth. A chill traversed through the air, causing the lights to flicker again. Everyone shuffled nervously. What if this wasn't just about dinner? What if this was about something darker? Suddenly, from a corner table, an elderly man, Mr. Thompson, rose unsteadily to his feet. "I need to know," he urged, his voice breaking, eyes wide and fear palpable. "I lost my wife last year and I don't even know why. I need the truth." His words hung heavy, and a few patrons exchanged uncomfortable glances. Emma's gaze darted to him, recognizing that desperate search for understanding. This wasn't just about a meal, it was about lives intertwined, fractures that begged for acknowledgement. "All right," she said softly. "If you want the truth, the past is far from buried. It will claw its way back to the surface." The room seemed to inhale deeply, suspended in expectation. Then, with a flick of her wrist and an almost imperceptible change in her voice, she spoke again, the timing deliberate, each word laced with gravity. "Your lives are woven together by more than just chance. There are secrets that connect you all, threads you thought were long severed, but they are not gone. They are lurking, waiting for the right moment to strike." A pregnant pause enveloped the diner, as if the air had thickened with the weight of her prophecy. Suddenly, the door swung open with a dramatic creak, and a figure stepped inside. The figure was tall and shadowy, and the chill that followed them sent another wave of shivers through the crowd. "Can I get some food?" they demanded, an edge to their voice that silenced the room. It was Drew, a local whose reputation preceded him. Trouble and echoes of past misdeeds whispered in every corner of the diner. Emma's eyes widened, recognition dawning, all while a tremor of unease rippled through those gathered. "Get out, Drew!" Claire shouted, a mix of anger and fear coloring her cheeks. "You don't belong here." Emma, however, stood frozen, riveted by the sight of him. "You shouldn't have come back," she said quietly, the ghost of a memory flaring in her mind. Drew smirked, undeterred. "But it looks like I have. And you all have some catching up to do." With that, he strolled further inside, his presence igniting a volatile silence. Gazes exchanged between the patrons felt laden with fear, trust waning as unspoken accusations hung in the air. The tension swelled again, a potent combination of fear, suspicion, and unanswered questions. Emma clenched her fists, knowing this was only the beginning. "What do you know, Drew?" she pressed, but he simply chuckled, his eyes gleaming with mischief. Suddenly, the lights flickered once more and the diner plunged into darkness. A cacophony of gasps erupted as hearts quickened, the shadows enclosing them like a shroud. The lights flickered back on, and the scene that met their eyes froze them in place. Someone was gone. Someone they had taken for granted just minutes before. What just happened? Claire's voice trembled, echoing the panic that roared through the hearts of the diners. Emma's pulse raced. What is it that we are really hiding? The truth, or something far worse? The questions lingered in the air, heavy with dread and uncertainty, as they faced the reality of their choices. The stage was set, and they all felt it an inevitable reality approaching. When would the next shadow fall? What would they uncover? And most chillingly, who would be the next to disappear? The diner felt colder now, a void where laughter and clinking dishes had once sounded. All eyes darted around the room, searching for the absent figure of Claire, who had vanished in that instant of darkness. The tension felt like a thick fog, suffocating everyone. "Claire!" Emma called out, her voice barely more than a whisper. She felt it, an invisible weight pressing on her, every moment stretching into eternity. Fear looped in her chest, tightening like a vice. Drew broke the silence, his voice like honey laced with poison. "Couldn't he even handle a little dark, could you? The truth has a way of scaring people into hiding," he sneered, glancing around to gauge the effect of his taunts. "What do you know?" Hector said, teeth gritted, as he stepped forward, his fury igniting against Drew's simmering arrogance. "Where's Claire? What did you do?" Drew simply shrugged, an amused glint in his eyes. "She was right there when the lights went out." Always had a knack for wandering off, he let the sentence dangle, the unspoken implications buzzing in the air like electricity. Emma's blood ran cold. She took a step toward him. "You think this is a joke? People are panicking, and you're making it worse." "Am I?" Drew's smile grew wider, revealing a predatory edge. "Maybe they should know the truth after all." As he spoke, the diner door creaked open again, disrupting the tense atmosphere. A petite figure burst into the room, breathless and wide-eyed. "I'm sorry, I was looking for it," was Sam, Emma's daughter, only 15 and already bearing burdens much too heavy for her age. "Mom!" she cried, catching sight of Emma's frantic expression. "Sam, where have you been? Are you all right?" Emma rushed over, her heart racing. The way Sam's face was pale told her everything wasn't okay. I saw Claire," Sam stammered, glancing nervously at Drew. "She's outside. I think she's in trouble." "There's don't go talking nonsense, kid," Drew interrupted, his tone icy. "What could a little coffee shop girl want with you?" "Shut up, Drew," Emma snapped, protective instincts surging. "Tell me what you saw, Sam." "Focus, honey." "There were shadows," Sam whispered, her eyes darting back to the diner door. "They were pulling her." She looked scared. Like she wanted to scream. A gasp murmured through the patrons, and another round of silence swept through the diner like a shroud. Emma's heart thundered painfully in her chest. "We have to go get her." The urgency in her voice cut through everyone. Mr. Thompson stood, his hands shaking. "What are you waiting for? I lost my wife. If Claire's in danger, we can't just sit here." Emma turned to Drew, furious but also terrified. "You know more. What did you do to bring this on? Maybe the secrets don't just tie you together. Maybe they tie you to the shadows lurking, the ones that are finally coming home." His words dripped with menace, a dark smile that soured Emma's stomach. Suddenly, the lights blinked again, flickering as if the diner itself was holding its breath. The hairs on the back of Emma's neck stood up. "Go!" Emma shouted, her voice cracking with desperation as she pulled Sam toward the door. "No, wait!" Drew called, but Emma didn't look back. As they burst outside, the cold air hit them like a slap, sharp and biting. But there was something else in the air, a sense of foreboding that danced, wrapping its icy fingers around her heart. They had to find Claire. But where could they possibly look? Shadows flickered around them, whispering secrets of their own. Each step felt like walking on the edge of a knife. "Mom, what if—" Sam hesitated, fear dancing in her gaze. "What if we find something we don't want to know?" Emma grabbed her daughter's hand tight. "We will face it together. Whatever it is. We can't leave Claire behind." Not far off, a figure appeared in the distance, half hidden in the darkness, and Emma's breath hitched. "Claire?" she called out, praying that the answer would be one she could handle. But as they pushed toward the gathering shadows, a chilling response echoed back in the stillness. "Why did you come back?" The voice was not Claire's, and it carried the weight of 100 secrets just waiting to unravel. What were they about to uncover? Who had lured Claire into the dark? Emma's body tensed, knowing whatever lay ahead could change everything forever. Emma's heart raced as she strained to see through the darkness. The figures in the shadows shifted, their forms both familiar and utterly foreign. Fear knotted in her stomach as the voice, a chilling, melodic whisper, pierced the air. "Mom, who is that?" Sam's voice trembled. "I don't know," Emma breathed, trying to steady herself. She knew they had to move closer. Every instinct screamed that Claire was in danger, and they were running out of time. "Stay close to me." The shadows morphed, a melding of shapes and whispers that sent shivers racing down Emma's spine. With each step forward, the night felt thicker, as if suffocating her under layers of dark memories. "Why did you come back?" The voice called again, mocking, echoing against the diner wall like a bell tolling doom. "Enough of this!" Emma shouted, raising her voice against the creeping fear. "Where's Claire? Do you want to know?" From the depths of the darkness, a tall figure emerged, cloaked in a long, tattered coat. His face was obscured by a hood, shadow cloaking his features. But Emma could feel the intensity of his gaze burning through the darkness, landing squarely on her. "You have been warned. Secrets, my dear," he continued, stepping closer, "they have a cost. Get away from us." Sam cried, stepping back, her fear morphing into a desperate plea. Emma grabbed her daughter's shoulder, anchoring her in place. "Don't listen to him, Sam." But the words felt hollow against the powerful presence looming before them. "We just want to find Claire. She was never lost," the figure insisted, a twisted smile curling at the corners of his mouth. "She's where she belongs now, entangled in her own web of lies." A flash of light from behind the diner caught Emma's attention. That's where she went," she said, excitement and dread battling in her chest. A narrow path led through the overgrown thicket surrounding the diner. "Mom, we can't," Sam protested, looking between the figure and the path. "What if it's a trap?" Emma's heart sank. "It might be, but we're running out of time. We can't let fear control us." "Then let it come," the figure rasped, taking a step back, fading into shadows. Emma took a shaky breath and pulled Sam toward the narrow path, her heart pounding like a drum. "Together," she said, determination flickering into life, the trail twisted, guiding them deeper into the woods. The chill of the air rushed against them, though the trees loomed like giants threatening yet ancient, as if they held the secrets of the world. As they walked, the voice from the darkness echoed in Emma's mind. "You came back now, face what you must." Then a sudden scream pierced the night, melodic yet desperate. It was Claire's voice, echoing through the stillness. Emma's heart lurched. "Claire!" she shouted, urgency flowing from her tongue. The echo of her call bounced back, but the scream stopped abruptly. Had Claire heard her? A sliver of hope sparked, battling in her heart against the dread creeping back in. "Mom! Please!" Sam gasped, her breath trembling. "What if this is all a trick? What if we find only pain?" Emma turned to her daughter, fear etched on her features. "Then we'll deal with it as it comes. We owe Claire that much. We can't just leave her in whatever nightmare this is." But as they pressed forward through the labyrinth of trees, another chilling voice slithered out from the undergrowth. "You shouldn't have come here, you've awakened them." Frozen in place, Emma felt the air grow dense, as if the shadows themselves were pressing in around her. Darkness curled around them, pulsing with a life of its own. She felt the looming presence of something ancient and hungry. "Mom, I feel it," Sam whispered, eyes wide as she clutched Emma's arm. "Stay close," Emma muttered, fear coiling in her gut. What awaited them at the center of this grotesque web? Did Claire remain somewhere just beyond their reach, or had they unleashed a darkness they couldn't possibly combat? As they moved deeper, it became clear, the answers they sought weren't just hidden but guarded, like opals encased in darkness and terrifying shards. Of truth lay ahead. What were they about to confront? The shadows thickened, and with each step, Emma sensed the pull of secrets following closely. "This was just the beginning, Mom." Sam's voice broke the silence again. "We can't go back now, can we?" The shadows seemed to twine tighter around them as Emma replied, clutching her daughter's hand. "No, we can't, but we must find Claire. No matter what." The voice in the distance faded into the night and then a new sound emerged, one more sinister than the last. "Welcome back." The darkness shimmered around Emma and Sam, as if alive with whispers that danced through the air like shadows searching for warmth. Emma's heart pounded in her ears, a clock counting down to an inevitable confrontation. "Mom, I don't like this," Sam breathed out, planting her feet as they stood at the precipice of the unknown. "Neither do I," Emma admitted. She squeezed Sam's hand tighter, willing her own fear to transform into courage. "But we can't let go. We have to keep moving." With hesitant steps, they ventured further down the thicket, the crunch of twigs underfoot echoing like warning bells in the thickening silence. The trees loomed mercilessly overhead, twisted branches reaching for them, as if they were guardians of some unfathomable truth, treasures hidden deep, or horrors lying in wait. Suddenly, the night split wide open with Claire's voice once more, distant, haunted, and thrumming with urgency. "Help me. Please. Claire." Emma shouted, her words a desperate lifeline lashing through the darkened air. She surged forward, propelled by love and fear. Each stride was electric, charged with the knowledge that they might reach her just in time, but buoyed by the nagging question of what awaited them. "Mom, don't leave me." Sam's voice trembled, but Emma could hardly turn back. They were closer now, almost within reach. She could feel it in the marrow of her bones, and then, suddenly, the ground shifted. A feral wind howled through the trees, a voice rising from it like tendrils seeking prey. "You should have stayed away." It slithered through the woods, a sound that rattled through their very souls. Emma hesitated. "What is this place?" she whispered, breath fogging in the chill. The words felt heavy, laden with dread. "Push through," Sam urged, her courage flickering. "Claire is in there. I can feel it." Her grip tightened around Emma's hand. As they pressed deeper, the world around them dimmed further, but then stark silhouettes began to materialize, figures shrouded in heavy shadows. They swayed and shifted, faces half hidden but eyes glinting with an acidic excitement. "Welcome back," one of the figures spoke, his voice smooth as oil yet serrated with meaning. "You were missed, dear Emma." "Who are you?" Emma demanded, adrenaline flooding her veins. "What do you want?" "Ah, how lovely to see you again. So much has changed, and yet," he gestured to the shadows, "so much remains the same." Emma's confusion mounted. Memories flashed before her eyes, fragments like broken glass scattering across a floor laden with secrets. "What do you mean?" "Why, your precious daughter has a destiny entwined with that of this place." He smiled, a grievous grin. "What did you think would happen upon your return? You can't flee from blood, my dear." "Mom, let us go," Sam urged, shaking with fear. "This isn't right. We need to find Claire." Emma's heart constricted. "Sam," but before Emma could finish, the shadows surged, a host of emotions flooding her senses. The figures became corporeal, personalities unfurling in the cold night. She recognized them, faces from her past, each one pulling at threads she wished to keep buried. Claire's scream pierced the barrier of emotions, raw and unmarred. "Mom! Sam! Help me!" Emma jolted back to the present, now or never. "We're coming." She lunged toward the darkest point, the one that shone just beyond the looming entities, like a beacon through the tempest. "Such bravery for foolish hearts," sneered another shadow, lingering just out of reach. "You're not prepared for what lies ahead. The truth is not a bomb, but a knife." Despite the fraying space between them, Emma forged ahead. "We will face it together," she vowed, grasping the light of hope glimmering in Sam's eyes, but just as they entered the clearing, the air thickened, an impenetrable veil sealing them into a realm of despair. Gnarled branches twisted overhead, skeletal silhouettes forming words in the wind, slowly revealing secrets that had long been buried. Every wish drives a cost, every shadow hides a truth. As the echo faded, Emma realized they stood before a gaping mouth of some ancient den. Inside, a faint light flickered, and another scream erupted, more chilling than before. "Mom! It's a trap. We can't go in there." Sam's panic coursed through Emma, igniting an internal war of fear and resolution. Emma met her daughter's terrified gaze. "We already came this far. We have to find her." Yet, as they braced themselves to enter the abyss, the trees whispered again, desperate warnings tangled in the wind. "You've awakened something far worse." With every heartbeat, the shadows beckoned, drawing them closer to whatever lay within. Emma whispered a silent prayer. Could they survive the truth that awaited them? Or would the darkness spiral into a depth they could not escape? The air vibrated with unspoken promises, the secrets etched deeper as they stood at the crossroads of fear and hope. As they crossed the threshold, a voice broke through the veil one last time. Welcome to your reckoning. The moment they crossed the threshold, the world seemed to shift. The darkness swallowed them whole, wrapping around them like a suffocating blanket. Emma felt her heart race, thumping against her ribcage with a desperate rhythm. Every instinct screamed to turn back, yet the muted glow ahead pulled at her like a magnet. "Mom, I feel wrong," Sam whispered, her voice quaking, eyes wide with fear. The shadows coiled around them, alive and pulsating, as if they were feeding off their dread. Emma wanted to reassure her, to tell her they would be all right, but the words stuck in her throat. "Stay close," Emma breathed, taking a step forward. The dark space widened, revealing a labyrinth of twisted roots and craggy stones that seemed to writhe like serpents. Faint echoes of Claire's cries reverberated through the cavern, each sound urgent and chilling. "Help me. Please." The voice twisted in the air, now closer. Emma felt a surge of hope. That was her daughter. She had to push forward. "Claire!" Emma shouted, but her voice was drowned beneath a rush of wind that wailed through the maw. The shadows flickered, whispering secrets that felt like shards of ice against her skin. The figures around them began to nod, their hidden faces morphing into twisted grins that sent shivers racing down her spine. "Ah, the sweet taste of hope so easily shattered," one hissed, its form swirling in the heavy shadows. Emma felt a knot tighten in her stomach. "Leave us alone," Sam cried, her hands trembling against Emma's. Another scream echoed, more primal and raw than before. It was Claire, a heart-wrenching call that sliced through the chaos. Emma steadied herself. "Claire!" She shouted again, her voice fueled by a newfound determination. With each step, she waded deeper into the darkness, the light ahead flickering like a dying star. It was a trap, she could feel it, but love propelled her forward. "Mom!" Sam pleaded, worry clouding her expression. "What if we're too late? Then we will face it together." Emma growled, her pulse ratcheting up. It was now or never. As they pressed on, the shadows thickened, swirling and whispering secrets that clawed at Emma's mind. "This is your legacy and her price." The words twisted, oozing malice, sending prickles of fear crawling along her arms. Then she saw it. The faint light erupted into a blinding glow. It illuminated a small figure curled in the corner of the cavern. Claire, small and vulnerable, eyes filled with terror. Emma's heart surged, she reached out, desperate to touch her. "Claire!" she cried, a wave of relief crashing over her. But something was wrong. The closer she got, the dimmer the light became, its warmth retreating like the tide. "Mom, don't!" Sam started, but it was too late. As Emma reached for Claire, the shadows erupted, swirling around her and pulling her just out of reach. A scream built in her throat as she fought against the darkness. "Mom!" Sam shrieked, yanking Emma back. "This isn't safe. We need to leave." The shadows laughed, a sound like breaking glass against stone. "Oh, sweet child, it's too late to turn back now." Emma could hardly breathe, terror gripped her heart. Claire was right there, just a breath away. But the shadows danced, weaving an impenetrable barrier, deceptive and lurking, threatening to pull her daughter into their abyss. "Let her go!" Emma yelled, fear giving way to fury. The shadows only laughed harder, banishing the glimmer from Claire's eyes. Heart pounding, Emma struggled against the force trying to hold her back. She couldn't lose Claire again. "We're coming!" she shouted, unwavering in her resolve, but as she lunged forward, the light flickered one last time before going out completely. The darkness closed in, consuming all hope, and with it came a chilling realization. The shadows weren't just entities, they were memories, regrets, truths buried long ago. In that moment of despair, Emma felt the walls of the cavern begin to shift, the very ground rumbling beneath her feet. A voice echoed, more sinister than before, the shadows revealing their true intent. welcome to your reckoning. The past has come to claim its due. As the tremors intensified, Emma braced herself, knowing that everything she feared was about to unfold. Would they stand against the shadows, or would they be swallowed whole? The truth awaited, and the darkness was hungry. The chamber trembled as the shadows pulsated, alive and raging. Emma felt the air thin, each breath a battle against the suffocating weight of despair. With Sam by her side, their hands clasped tightly, she fought against the fear that threatened to shatter her resolve. Claire's cries echoed, swirling around them, a haunting melody of desperation. "Mom, we have to move. They're everywhere." Sam's voice was shrill, cutting through the air thick with darkness. "No. We can't leave her." Emma gasped, her heart hammering in her chest. The visions of Claire, small and scared, filled her mind, and she couldn't bear the thought of abandoning her daughter to whatever horrors lurked in the shadows. Suddenly, the shadows twisted, their movements synchronized, darting like shadows from a flickering candle. They whispered her name, Emma, Emma, in a chorus that seemed to unite their past regrets into a single salacious promise, tantalizing in its cruelty. "Hold on to me," Emma ordered, determined to break through the encroaching dark. And they moved as one, weaving through the cavern, the faint glow of Claire still just ahead, taunting them, flickering on the edge of reach. The further they went, the more the darkness clawed at them. It felt as if the shadows themselves were alive, reaching out, gripping at skin, pulling them back. Emma's breath quickened. She was a step closer to Claire, just one more, when the shadows surged with chilling laughter. "You think you can save her?" one hissed, coiling around her feet, tightening. "She was never yours to keep. Let her go." Emma screamed, fury igniting within her. She felt a surge of strength, something primal that would not let fear win. But the shadows responded with an even darker menace, "Because you would rather live in denial than face the truth, wouldn't you?" The ground beneath them shook violently, sending a shockwave through Emma's core. The memories that had become these shadows were clawing their way back, threatening to undo everything she had fought against. "Mom!" Sam yelled, a pool of terror gathering in her eyes as Emma began to sway, feeling dizzy from the weight of the memories, their togetherness, Claire's laughter, the moments of remorse. The shadows bore witness to her failures, echoing them back with deafening clarity. "Please don't listen, no," Emma shouted, shaking her head to dispel the visions swirling around her. "I refuse to let them take you." With each forward step, the shadows wriggled like snakes, wrapping themselves tighter around her. She strained to push through, the darkness gnashing at her like a feral beast. And there, right in front of her, Claire was silhouetted against what remained of the light. Emma's heart surged. The moment stretched the very air thick with dread and anticipation. "Mom," Claire whispered, her tiny voice cracking. "Help me please." With a fierce roar, Emma lunged. The instant contact between her outstretched hand and Claire's fragile form sent an electric jolt through her body. She could almost feel the warmth radiating from Claire, vibrant and alive against the chilling void. The shadows shrieked, a chorus of anguish and rage, and a blinding light erupted around them. Exaltation pulsed in Emma's veins for just a heartbeat, a promise of rescue, when the shadows released a primal howl, throwing them backwards, sweeping them apart. "No!" Emma screamed, feeling the tatters of their connection slip away. Claire was yanked back into the dark, swallowed by the very essence of their pain. In the chaos, the walls of the cavern shuddered again, shifting as if the shadows themselves were rearranging their intent. "It's time to confront what you've buried," the sinister voice echoed, reverberating through her mind. Emma gritted her teeth, panic now a drowning weight. "No, not again. We will find a way." But in the swirling darkness, a chilling realization settled around her. The shadows weren't just spirits of the past, they held truths she had hidden, secrets that could unravel everything. And in that moment, she understood, the true reckoning was just beginning. With a final wrenching cry from Claire drowned in the thick darkness, Emma felt a bone-deep fear settle in her heart. What if confronting her shadows was the only way to save her daughter? Would she have to face her deepest, darkest truths to fight for Claire's life? As she steadied herself against the chaos, Emma felt the cavern pulse with an unearthly energy, as if it was breathing, waiting for the inevitable next move, and she knew the darkness was only just getting started. What secrets lay ahead as she continued this terrifying journey? The air crackled with tension, hanging heavy like an impending storm. Emma stood frozen, shadows twisting all around her, each dark tendril a reminder of what she had tried to forget. Sam was at her side, his hand trembling in hers, the only light in their world dim and flickering. "Mom, we need to run." Sam's urgency infused the thick air, his voice a lifeline in the despair. Each heartbeat felt like a drum of dread pounding in her ears. She could already see flashes of Claire in her mind, trapped and terrified, begging for salvation from the clutches of despair. "No!" Emma cried again, a raw edge to her voice. "I can't leave her." Suddenly, the shadows twisted and coiled tighter, almost suffocating her with their cold grip. From deep within the blackness came chilling voices, each mocking and filled with a sick glee. "Why do you fight? She's a lost cause. Embrace your regrets, Emma, no." She screamed against the suffocating whispers. Determination burned in her chest. "I won't give in to you." With a steely resolve, Emma pushed against the shadows, letting her instincts guide her. Sam was yanked closer, desperate to escape this hell. Time seemed to warp, stretching and squeezing, as they stumbled through an ever-changing landscape of darkness. Just when she thought they might find the door to freedom, the floor beneath them trembled violently, so much so that she almost lost her balance, and then she saw it. A flicker, a glimmer of hope, Claire's silhouette more solid than any thought she had. "Mom!" Claire's voice echoed, thin but piercing, slicing through the chaos. But before Emma could respond, the shadows released a tormented howl. The ground split as if the cavern itself was opposing her will, throwing her and Sam aside like leaves caught in a gust. "You're not ready for the truth." The outraged voices hissed, now a dissonant cacophony surrounding them, taunting her, gritting her teeth. Emma stumbled, struggling against the tide of fear. The shadows surged forward, dark shapes rolling and whipping around, eager to plunge her into despair. They were memories and fears birthed from the very depths of her heart, swirling together like a storm ready to swallow her whole. Then came a whisper, seductive in its venom. "Do you want to know what happened? The truth about her? You can't hide from yourself, shut up." Emma shouted, refusing to accept the bait. But the shadows persisted, revealing flashes from her past. Faded images of laughter and warmth twisted into bitter reminders of mistakes long buried. "Face it, Emma. You chose this path." For a moment, their insidious words rang true. Guilt clenched her chest, squeezing tight. You could have protected her. Heart pounding, she fought against the shadows, anger and fear forging a newfound resilience in her. "I can still save her," she insisted, pushing through, determination fueling each frantic step toward Claire. Suddenly, the walls around them flared with energy, light flickering at the cavern's edges. Emma felt pulses of warmth pulse through her skin, not just the suffocating dread of the dark. In that light, she caught a glimpse of hope, a vision of Claire smiling, arms outstretched, her face illuminated with love. But the shadows weren't finished. "To save her, you must confront your truth," they screamed. The very air sizzled with a palpable energy as Emma gasped, everything coming crashing down. "Mom!" Sam's voice shattered her reverie as he pointed beyond the swirling mass of darkness. And there it was, a doorway, barely visible, fluttering between realms. "Go!" he shouted, pulling Emma toward it. Just as she reached out, the shadows lashed out, wrapping around her legs, their anguished cries clawing at her resolve. "Face the darkness within you, Emma." They lashed out, the pain of truth threatening to drown her. With everything she had left, Emma pulled herself free. The moment was fleeting, but she felt it a rush of clarity. For her daughter, she needed to confront the deepest, darkest shadows. The doorway loomed larger, brighter, but the connection to Claire dimmed as she glimpsed into empty eyes, shadows flickering behind them. The question echoed in her mind, was the truth worth the risk? What did it really mean to save her? She hesitated, heart caught between hope and fear. The cavern howled in protest, shadows clawing at her very being, desperate to pull her back into the abyss. "Mom!" Sam cried again, urgency electrifying the air. With one last surge of resolve, Emma grasped Sam's hand tightly and bolted toward the doorway. But what awaited them on the other side? Would emerging into the light mend her shattered family or reveal more devastation than she could bear? As they plunged through the shimmering threshold, a new darkness lurked beyond, promising that the real battle was just beginning. The moment they crossed through the doorway, Emma held her breath, uncertainty swirling in her mind like the darkness they'd just escaped. They tumbled into a new space, the air crackling with electric energy. The world felt unreal, disorienting. Before them lay an expansive room, lit by a soft golden glow that felt oddly warm against Emma's cold skin. Refreshing scents, a mix of spices, herbs, and something familiar yet foreign hovered in the air, enticing and dissonant. The flicker of lights outlined the silhouette of a long table set for a feast, complete with steaming dishes and glistening silverware. But it was the faces at the table that snagged her attention. There, amidst cheerful chatter and laughter, were figures she recognized but hadn't seen in years. Family and friends. Claire's friends from school, and even her own parents, no longer guilt-ridden shadows but joyful expressions, alive with warmth. "Mom!" Sam whispered, his voice trembling with awe. Emma's heart skipped. Could this be a trick? Her instincts screamed that nothing this perfect could exist, especially here, after everything. Still, she took a tentative step forward, glancing at Sam to gauge his reaction. He looked captivated, a hint of hope gleaming in his eyes. "Go on, Em." A voice chimed melodiously, cutting through her hesitance. It was Claire's voice, tender and inviting. "Join us." Emma swallowed hard. Was this a memory? A mirage? The shadows had toyed with her before. Each step felt like navigating a tightrope stretched over a chasm. As they walked closer, the laughter faded, like a record scratching to a halt. The guests turned their heads slowly, locking their gazes onto Emma and Sam, their smiles shifting from warmth to something colder, unyielding. "Why did you leave us?" Another voice echoed. This one belonged to a friend of Claire's, a girl who used to giggle over birthday cakes. "You had a choice." Emma's heart turned to lead as panic surged within her. "No, I didn't mean to leave." Your choice has consequences," another voice chimed, dark and echoing. It was as if the very walls of the room drew closer, the warmth evaporating into a chilling breeze. The faces turned judgmental, accusatory. "Mom!" Sam yelled, pulling at her arm, his voice cutting through the haze of confusion. "We have to get out of here." But the shadows returned, weaving between the smiles of her loved ones, turning their joyous laughter into haunting giggles. "You thought fleeing would save her?" The shadows sang, wrapping around Emma, their grip tighter now. "You simply ran away." Suddenly, the room began to blur, the colors swirling and shifting like a whirlpool. The cheerful golden glow turned sickly green, and Emma found herself being dragged back, away from the table of horror. Sam's hand felt slick with sweat in hers, and dread clawed at her insides. "Claire!" She screamed, heart shattering, voice crumbling as she recalled the flashes of her daughter's face in the shadows. The shadows hissed, mocking her desperation. "Do you truly believe you can save her, Emma? The truth is what you fear the most." Then, the room shattered around them, splinters of reality slicing through her hideous visions. With a final push, she and Sam were thrust back into darkness, the sound of laughter replaced with an eerie silence that seemed to swallow them whole. As the darkness enveloped them, a voice whispered, dim and foreboding. "There will be no running this time." Emma's breath hitched. They were back in the cavern, but something shifted in the air. There was a new sense of urgency. A pulse of energy crackled, vibrant and alive. Was it time to confront her lingering truths? Or was deeper darkness waiting, one that would strip her down to her core? "Hold on tight, Sam!" Emma shouted, her resolve igniting as she locked eyes with the swirling shadows. "I won't let them win." But with every word, the darkness quivered and churned, growing more volatile. Would this battle uncover the ultimate truth? Or would it seal her fate forever? The air thrummed, and Emma braced herself as the shadows lunged forward, ready to fight back. The shadows shrieked, an angry chorus clamoring as they coiled tighter around Emma and Sam. Heart pounding wildly, Emma steeled herself, knowing this was the moment that could alter everything. The glint of light they saw earlier had to be Claire, beckoning them forward, a beacon amongst the gloom. "Mom! We can't let them win." Sam's voice rang out, raw with fear but laced with determination. The shadows flickered, their laughter echoing through the cavern like a dreadful symphony. "You still think you can save her?" one hissed, its form undulating like smoke. "You are only burdened by your own failures." "No!" Emma shouted, her voice firm as steel. "I refuse to let you define me. I will face the truth and save my daughter." With a newfound strength surging through her, Emma lunged forward through the swirling darkness. Each step was a battle against the shadows, her heart a drum echoing with the memories she longed to face. She could still hear Claire's sweet voice, faint yet insistent, twirling through the air like a soothing song. "Mom! Help me! Hold on, Claire!" Emma cried, reaching within herself for the memories of joy, love, and yes, the hurt. Every single truth she had buried needed to come to light if she was to rescue her daughter. She felt the shadows surge, attempting to pull her back, but she pushed against them, focusing on the flickering warmth she could sense in her heart, the bond that tied them together. "Your shadows will consume you." Another taunted, but Emma felt her resolve deepening. With each step deeper into the darkness, she recalled every cherished moment with Claire, the laughter, the warmth, the love. Those memories ignited a flame within her, lighting her way through the insane frenzy of darkness. "I'm not scared of you anymore," Emma shouted, her voice booming. "I embrace my truth." As she shouted her declaration, the shadows recoiled, somehow shaken. The air pulsed, the cavern walls shimmered. "No!" one ghostly figure shrieked, its form flickering nervously. "You must stay in the dark. You cannot face what you have hidden." "Watch me," Emma replied fiercely, feeling the strength of 1,000 voices giving rise to her own. In that moment, the shadows seemed to hesitate, their grip loosening ever so slightly. Emma turned to Sam, a fire in her darkened eyes. "We'll do this together. We hold the light. Remember that." Sam nodded, fear still shining in his eyes, but now tempered with courage. Emma reached out for her son, their hands clasping tightly together as a force now, against the shadows. The rumble of energy coursed through the cavern, one clear thought uniting them: love conquers all. "Claire!" Emma shouted into the abyss. "We're coming." From the depths emerged a sound, a faint echo of a sweet melody, and with it came the surge of light, breaking through the dark. The shadows writhed, their voices now frantic, muddled. In that dazzling burst of illumination, Claire's silhouette appeared, eyes wide with fear and confusion, bound but alive, heartache written across her face. "Mom! Sam!" Claire cried, reaching for them, her fingers grazing the shimmering barrier holding her captive. Emma's heart swelled. "We're here. Together. We're coming for you." The shadows screeched in anguish, struggling against the light, but the glow only grew brighter. They surged forward as one, fists raised, hearts pounding, as the shadows recoiled further into the depths of despair. "This ends now!" Emma screamed, rushing toward her daughter, eyes locked steadfastly on the warm light illustrating Claire's features. The darkness cracked, the shadows shrieked in agony, and in one resounding moment of unity, Emma and Sam plunged into the light. A thunderous explosion flared all around them, a burst reflecting love, warmth, and unfathomable courage. Everything fell silent as they broke through into another reality, the shadows dismantling, evaporating into nothingness. The cold was gone, replaced by warmth draped in love and acceptance. Emma blinked against the blinding light, finally finding herself in a radiant space filled with gentle winds and soft sounds, the laughter of a future yet to come. "Mom?" Claire's voice, much clearer now, swirled around them. "Claire!" Emma gasped, running to her daughter and enveloping her in an embrace so tight it chased away every shadow of doubt. Tears of joy streamed as she clutched Claire close, feeling her familiar heartbeat against her chest. "We did it. We faced the darkness, and we came out stronger," Sam added, joy illuminating his expression. "Yes. Together, we faced our truths," Emma said, finding solace in her son's bright smile, knowing they would never let go of that light again. As they stood together, enveloped in each other's warmth, something profound shifted in the air. The past, once shackled with pain, transformed into a tranquil acceptance, an understanding that they could heal without being chained to their shadows. A whisper of wind floated through the air, and the shadows that once threatened their every waking thought began to retreat. The weight of secrets lifted. Instead, there was love blooming and bright. And as they stepped forward into a new dawn, Emma realized the most powerful truth of all: love wins. Always. So here's the truth: if you love this story and want to keep following along for more exclusive content, you need to subscribe now. Smash that like button to feed the algorithm and show your support in a big way. And don't just hold on to your thoughts, flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this ending. Most importantly, instantly share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Don't wait even one more second. Your support means everything.